Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Butterfly Spirit 314. So guys, today what I want to do is talk about why you should not wait until after you get married to have sex. And I know there's videos on YouTube, there's like maybe articles, um, and things that probably say that you should wait until you have, wait till you get married to have sex. A lot of this is more like Christian based, church based stuff that, your church wants you to do. And I'm going to talk about why that is. And simply that's because churches make a lot of money off of people getting married. So for a couple who they are virgins, they never had sex or anything like that, the church makes a lot of money because when that person gets, let's say the two virgins get married, and then after, let's say after their wedding night or something like that, they find out on that particular day, the two people, let's say the girl had these kind of ideas about, how, the guy she married is going to be in bed, and then she finds out he's not like that, and then she's disappointed. And, on, the wedding night, a lot of people find out that, they find out, who's the most adventurous, who's the most confident, when it comes to sex, and they find that out. Now, you could have two people who are virgins and they're, so scared and fearful about sex that they kind of decide not to do it. But sex is something that is very valuable. It's something that you guys should do before you get married because, either one or both of you could end up disappointed, after you do it. I've heard some girls who save themselves for marriage. I read about an article about this girl. She said that she remained a virgin until, after she got married. On her wedding night, she said that, she was so invested in the image of like being a virgin and how, people at her church were proud of her and everything like that. And after her wedding night, she, had sex with her new husband, of course. And she talked about how, like, she didn't feel comfortable, she felt awkward and things. And she, after having sex, she felt dirty. And it's because, I'm guessing, because her church made it seem like, being a virgin is it's the really important thing. But really what I would say is that, you have so many girls invested in this image of being virgins, or, flowers or something like that. I'm not sure, like, the term that they use in churches, but they get so invested in being a virgin and how right it is and how good it is. And then after they have sex, they end up like this girl where, they have sex on their wedding night and they feel dirty. They feel like their identity was wrapped up in being a virgin and how people praise them for being that. And now, they know the people at their church are going to know that they have sex. And, they wonder what people are going to think of them, that they did, a dirty act like sex or whatever and stuff. But sex is not a bad thing. Sex is a good thing. It's okay to wait, It's okay to wait to have sex with somebody that you're going to be getting married to. That's okay. That's fine. When you guys first meet, you don't have to have sex that night. That's not something you have to do. You can have a boundary for yourself. Let's say you guys decide to wait a year. Like me and my fiance, we dated for maybe like a year. And then on Valentine's Day, that would be our anniversaries. So like after we've been dating a year, the Valentine's Day after that, what happened is, well, we dated, and then I think, yeah, so I can't even think about technicalities, but basically what happened is that we dated for a year, and I think a year would be like Valentine's Day, so that would mark a year. So, or maybe a little before. I'm not getting into technicalities. But anyway, a year after knowing each other on Valentine's Day, we decided to have sex, and we were both virgins and stuff. So you can imagine how awkward and weird that's going to be and stuff. So I think it's good to wait a year if you're both virgins and stuff. Now, the real challenge is what happens when both of you, let's say, what happens if like one of you is a virgin and one of you is not a virgin? That's really the question, you know. I was just watching, I believe it's Divorce Court, but it's like before the vows. And there was a situation where the girl was a virgin. She was like 20. The guy was like 32. He said he was younger. I think he said he was younger just to, you know, kind of keep her interested in him, you know. And that's why I think somebody may lie about their age. I don't think you should. But, you know, I was kind of glad about how the case turned out and stuff, that they should kind of wait to get married today, figure themselves out. I think that's super great. Having sex is not a bad thing. It's really not. And I know there's tons of people out there who say, no, wait till you get married to have sex. But you can end up like the girl I was talking about. There was the Christian girl that she ended up feeling dirty. She felt like she lost her identity and stuff because it was so tied to being a virgin. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it. If you're somebody, you're watching, you're religious, you're a Christian or some other type of faith or whatever. I can only identify with Christianity because I used to be a Christian. So I understand where that may be. I wasn't really tied into the virgin kind of stuff or anything. But I kind of understand, you know, I get it because I get the experience and stuff. So some of you guys may say, you know, why should I just base my experience off of what happened with the girl? You know, why should I do that? Well, there's some things that you need to know going into marriage. And it's good to, you know, it's good to have sex and understand these things before you get married to somebody, because sometimes the sex is going to determine whether or not you get married to them, you know, and this is big for a lot of people, you know. So I want to talk about reasons why you should have sex with your significant other that you're intending on marrying, because there's things you need to know. So the first thing I'm going to start off with telling you before I start the discussion is that first, you guys need to know about birth control before you start having sex, okay? If you guys have sex and you do not have birth control, a pregnancy is going to result for the girl that's in a relationship, okay? So you want to know about birth control. Now, if you're somebody who you're in a lesbian relationship, if you guys have sex, of course, it's not going to result in pregnancy. I'm just talking about it from a standpoint, and this video is from a standpoint of a male and female being in a relationship. That's what this is about. If you're looking for more like a lesbian experience or something like that, a gay experience or something, then you may need to talk. You may need to go to another video where somebody's talking specifically about that. But this still could apply if you guys are like gay or lesbian. It still could apply. Like the sex stuff could apply. Okay, maybe not the pregnancies, but the sex stuff. So I'm just kind of keep going. So for a girl and a guy, if you have sex, a pregnancy can happen, and neither of you will be ready for that. So let's just talk about how important birth control is. So for girls, there are several forms of birth control that they can use. You know, I've used birth control pills. I used orthotricycline low, which is what I use. Some girls maybe can use orthotricycline, like the full strength. I use low. And I would tell you, I started taking the birth control pills before we even had sex, just so that it can get in my system and everything like that. There's, you know, other birth controls I've not tried. I'm on the birth control right now. I'm on Nexplanon. So Nexplanon is like a tiny, it's like a rice that's about this long, and it goes into, sorry, had my face. It goes into the girl's arm and stuff. And like, I would say you may have to wait a couple weeks maybe, but after that you can have sex and things and be protected from a pregnancy. So with Nexplanon, the good thing is that a girl can have sex as many times as she wants and stuff. I say on a period, don't have sex. Just don't. It's not clean, you know, it's bloody and all that, so you don't want to do that. But I say any other times outside of a period, you can have sex. So, when you're off your period, ladies, you can have sex. I bring up birth control because a lot of people don't know about birth control. A lot of people were confused about it. They don't know a lot about it. You have some people out there who say, oh, I'm not going to use birth control. It's against my religion to use birth control. If you're going from a religious standpoint here, a pregnancy can be result if you guys have sex. If you're okay with that, cool. If you're not, get on birth control. There's a lot of people who are skeptical about Planned Parenthood and stuff, and they feel like, they're killing babies and everything else. Here's what I want to tell you. Going to Planned Parenthood is really good to do because they talk to you about different forms of birth control. If you're a female, they talk about that. For guys only have condoms right now. I think there's supposed to be a birth control pill for men at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. But that would be a big step up for guys really to have another form of birth control other than condoms to use. So I think that's going to be awesome when it happens. My fiance is definitely going to be one of the people to sign up once they have something like that. I'm sure other guys are going to sign up as well. But I bring up birth control because this prevents pregnancy. And if you guys have, if you guys are getting to know each other, pregnancy resulting is not what you want to happen. Because what if one of you doesn't want to have kids? So I think about that. And that's an important conversation to talk about, whether or not you guys are going to have kids in your relationship. Very, very, very important. So, birth control, you can go to Planned Parenthood in your area. If there's not one in your state, you can go to the next closest state. And you go to Planned Parenthood, ladies, and, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are a couple, you guys can go together. If you're in a relationship, go together at Planned Parenthood. The girl can go in and she can get some education about different types of birth controls. They might give her a sheet and stuff. And one good thing about Planned Parenthood is that they can give you birth controls. So for guys, if you go to Planned Parenthood, you can get free condoms. You can go there. You don't have to pay for them. If you don't have the money, go to Planned Parenthood and they can give you some free condoms. I think they give you like maybe 10 or 12 in a bag. At this point in COVID, I'm not sure if you can just hand pick them up. But, they may already have, bags of them already for you to already just pick up and stuff. So, guys, go to Planned Parenthood if you need some condoms for free if you don't have any money. Okay? It's better to have protection than, your girl getting pregnant. Okay, so, ladies, birth controls, there's tons of them. If you try one, you don't like it, you can try others until something works. Nexplanon works for me. Specifically because I don't have to take a pill. I don't have to be thinking about, like with my ortho tricycline low, I had to, think about, oh my gosh, did I miss my pill? And it didn't happen very often, but it was like a ring of pills and stuff. And, well, like a ring. I guess it would be a ring of pills, a small ring. But either way, at least, you'd have to keep up with birth control pills. Ladies, if you are on Nexplanon, you don't really have to keep up with it. The only time you have to really keep up with it, I say, is on your period. You want to make sure you don't have sex during that time. But outside of sex, and I know I'm repeating myself, but outside of sex, you can have sex and stuff. I'd say when you first get the Nexplanon rice put in your arm, there is going to be a little bit of pain at the site, but that's okay. Nobody gets pregnant on Nexplanon, so don't believe those videos where girls say, oh, I got pregnant on Nexplanon. They didn't get pregnant on Nexplanon. How do I know? Because I've been on Nexplanon, going on 2 years now, and no pregnancies have resulted. None. So, and I have been having sex, and I have not had no babies. None. Okay? So I can tell you, no pregnancies result. I'm going to just set the record straight here so that you girls know that. Because a lot of you girls are going to believe what some girls saying, oh, you get pregnant on Nexplanon. No, you don't. I haven't been pregnant. And I love it. I love it, I love how it changes my periods. I don't have, when you have your first period, ladies, of course, you're going to have bleeding, and it's going to have to let up. So the period's going to be a little longer than normal. But like for your first period, and maybe the others, but I think the first period is like the longest, and then like the other ones are kind of short, so that's another benefit. Okay, so guys, if you're listening, these are some benefits you could tell your chick so that she knows. Good thing about Nexplanon is I don't have to take it. I don't have to take it. I don't have to remember. Oh, I can take it at 9 o'clock. No, I don't have to do that. With like the ring, some people may say not NuvaRing, but I'm saying like birth control pills, like the one I had. You have to remember to take it every day. Nexplanon, I don't have to remember that. I have my birth control on me all the time. It's in my arm, okay, and I can feel for it, and that's what you're going to be told by the doctor, ladies, is to feel for your Nexplanon and stuff. The rights, you're going to feel for it, so that it's still there, because you want to make sure it stays in place. Mine stayed in place. It's pretty much good. The only time, ladies, that you're going to have to really be concerned about it is when it runs out. So it lasts for 4 years is what I've been told. It lasts for 4 years. But I said 3 years. Go back to the Planned Parenthood you got the Nexplanon from, because you want them to check and stuff, and if they're going to insert a new one, you just want to make sure it didn't run out. That's what I'm suggesting. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I think in 2023 I'm supposed to go back to Planned Parenthood, but I'm going to go back earlier, just so I can make sure there's a supply, okay, of the Nexplanon. And the good thing about Nexplanon for me was I didn't have to pay anything for it. I didn't have to pay nothing for it. I was thinking I was going to pay money, but I didn't have to pay nothing for it because there was a huge discount. Yay. So I didn't have to pay for it. Normally Nexplanon will be anywhere it could be anywhere between like $900 to I say maybe $1,200, maybe if you go through a doctor, something like that. So I think it's $900 to $1,000 is what I'm gonna say, but I'm glad I didn't have to pay for it. It's awesome, So that's really a good thing. That's why I want to talk about birth control, because no babies yet. If you guys barely know each other, or you're not sure what you want to do yet, birth control is good. It's really good. I know there's some people who like to have sex with nothing, but babies can be guaranteed if you don't have some form of birth control. I always have birth control, and I love it because I don't have to think about, oh my gosh, I'm going to get pregnant. No. And no. I've taken a few pregnancy tests here last year, and I haven't taken one this year, but I don't have to worry about having a kid, and I love it. Ladies, if you're a woman who don't want any kids, Nexplanon is really cool. I've heard there's a new IUD that came out this year. So that lasts, I think, maybe 10 years, maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't read all the length of the article, but there's a new IUD supposedly. So that's pretty good for birth control, I think. I can't say I tried it, so I don't know. But I want to talk about birth control because it's really important. Most of the time, the only time you hear about birth control really is when you're in high school and you're in your either you're in a health class or you're in a sex education class. I was in a sex education class, and when I was in the class, the girls were super scared, and the guys were both sides were awkward, and the girls oh my God, I would say this right now. I would definitely go back to my high school and go back to the sex education classes and say to people, hey, you need to know about this stuff. You need to start using this stuff. My recommendation for girls that are in high school is that they should be required to be on some form of birth control. Not something that they can easily forget, but something that they can be on so they don't get pregnant they don't get pregnant, at any point in high school. They go through high school, no problems. I think that there should be a law, really, so that, we stop all these teen pregnancies and stuff like that. And, of course, when, I think from maybe, let me see. I think high school is 13 to 15, It may be a little bit different other places in the U.S., but I think that, I think, let's see, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's 4 years. Okay. So here's what I think. I think girls should be required to be on birth control. This will really reduce teen pregnancies. A lot of teenagers will get a chance to go to college, not having to worry about having children, which I think will be amazing for the U.S. I really do. It's not a law yet, so you don't have to worry about that at this point. I just think it would help because I think teenagers need to be focused on going to college. If they want to go to the military, they can do that. If they want to go to Peace Corps, they can do that. College, of course, they'll do that. Or they want to get a job or something like that, or they want to get in a career that doesn't require little to no college, then they can do that. That should be a choice for a teenager. They shouldn't be thinking about babies because they're kids themselves and they haven't figured things out for themselves. So why should they be having a kid as well? Okay. So I think for girls, I think they should be required to be on some form of birth control. So Nexplanon, I think, could be a good advantage. There may be, some parents who are super concerned about, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk to my kids about sex. If you don't talk to your kids about sex, they'll find out about it from TV. Let me tell you. They'll find out about it from music videos. They'll find out about it from their peers in high school. You know what I mean? Friends they have. The world. You know what I mean? If they go on a porn site, they'll find out about it that way. If you don't talk to your kids about it, you'll definitely be, they'll definitely find out. Okay? They will. But, if you guys are watching and, you don't have any kids, you ain't got to worry about it. But if you know somebody, if you have a sibling that's younger, they're in their teens, they're going to be a teen, talk to them about birth control. It can really help them, and at least they don't end up having a kid when they're a teenager. Now, some of you might say, well, if, Nexplanon lasts like 4 years, then how would it work for a teenage girl? Well, I think a teenage girl should start taking it as soon as they've been sexually active. So a lot of, like, when I was a kid, that would have been like maybe when people got in middle school, there was probably 13. And a lot of times that's when people start having sex. Some girls may start a little earlier. I think as soon as girls start having sex, so if they are what we call fast, when I was a kid, where girls are getting into stuff they shouldn't be, and having sex early. If a girl's 12 years old and she's having sex, I say this, parents should talk to their kids about, they should talk to their kids about being sexually active, Don't be forceful about the conversation. If you're an adult, don't be like that to a teenager or a kid. Don't be like that, but, start talking to them when they're like 12. And, talk to them about the birds and the bees, even though the birds and the bees isn't really too accurate, but at least he gets one across. But, at least when they're 12 years old, before they go into middle school, start talking about sex. Maybe ask your son or daughter, hey, or maybe brother or sister or a cousin, hey, when are you going to be thinking about having sex, And it's a very important question to ask them because let's say they say, well, and sometimes they're not going to tell their parents, So if they don't want to tell somebody in their family, this could be something really good to do where, let's say, in sex education or health classes, why not ask the students when are they going to have sex? You can have them to put like before they leave, have them to like write down in like piece of paper and ball it up, to say when they're going to have sex. Because a lot of times teenagers are not going to say that. They're not going to say when they're going to have sex. But it's a good thing to ask them. I would say from the time a girl is maybe 12 going all the way up to maybe 12 to maybe 18. So that's when a girl should be on birth control. Not something she has to remember, but it's something that's could be already in her already, in her arm or something like that can help. So, let's say if it was Nexplanon, let's see, Nexplanon lasts about 4 years. So if a girl's 12 years old, so on her 12th birthday, she has to get the birth control inserted in her arm. So let's see, 12, so 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's going to go until she's 15. Then once the 4 years is over, then she has to go back to the doctor. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, 15. And then at 15, she has to get another one put in, right? So 15. So 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 years old. When they're 19 years old, I'd say when they're 19, A lot of times people can make decisions for themselves. And 19 is pretty good. I graduated when I was 19 from high school, so it may work, for a teenage girl that way. Because when she's 19, a lot of times she's going to be in college. But that wasn't me yet. So I would say at least, she could be on Nexplanon maybe 3 times. So 12 to 15, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then 15 to 19. So 15, 16, 17. No, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, wait, hold on. 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And then another one, 15, 16, 17, 18. Sorry. And then 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. Sorry for my math, guys. Usually I'm really good with math. So from 12 to 15, 15 to 18, and then 18 to 18, 19. Okay, perfect. So I think that girls should be required to get on birth control when they're 12. Some kids are messing around really early and having sex, so it'd be a good idea if they start from 12 to 15. I know you guys want me to talk about the reasons not to have sex before marriage, and you can skip ahead if you want to till I get to the discussion and things, but I'm just talking about when I think it should be. I think from 12 to 15, girls should be on Nexplanon. 15 and 18, they should be on Nexplanon. And then when they're 18, they should get their last Nexplanon put in, and that will last up to 21. So 18, 19, 20, 21. When girls get to be 21 years old, they can do whatever the hell they want to. Because when they're 21, they can get it taken out. They can decide if they want to have babies or not or whatever. But at least this is going to help them enjoy their teenage years without having babies. Okay. So it can be starting at 13 and things. So let's see how that will go. 13. So 13, 14, 15, 16. 16, 17, 18, 19. 19, 20, 21, 22. Comes out when they're 22 years old. It's just that it'll happen 3 times, okay? But this just prevents babies from coming, okay? So it's not law yet or whatever. Parents can do whatever they want when it comes to talking to their kids about sex. I think the earlier you talk to your kid about sex and talk about birth control, the more helpful and beneficial it will be. Don't think that your son or daughter is not going to be having sex with a boyfriend or girlfriend they have. They might even tell you they have one. All right, so let's go to the discussion. Here we are about why you should have sex before marriage. I know you guys have been waiting for me to get here. It's taking me 27 minutes to do that. All right. So the reason you should have sex before marriage, number 1, if you're going to be getting married to somebody and you're going to be saving yourself for marriage, let's say. The reason why you want to have sex before marriage is because you want to majorly know this. You want to know what your sex drive is, okay? I say this because people who wait until they get married and then they have sex, they don't know what their sex drive is, right? And so if they wait until after they get married, then they find out afterwards. And let's say somebody has sex with their husband or wife first time. And after that, they don't know their they won't know their sex drive, okay? Knowing your sex drive takes time, okay? So, if a person, and I'm going to put this in perspective. So, I'm going to go back to somebody have sex before marriage and I'll tie it to the marriage part, okay? So, if somebody has sex with their significant other, let's say they plan on marrying, right? If they have sex with that person, birth control is a good thing. They have sex, and let's say you guys plan that you want to get married in like 2 or 3 years, but you say, hey, let's just go ahead and have sex. Okay, cool. Well, if you guys have sex before you guys get married, you'll know your sex drive. There's some people out there, let me tell you, their sex drive makes it so that they have to have sex every day. So have you guys seen that movie Nymphomaniac, where the girl like has to have sex? Like she has a really high sex drive, right? And sex drive just means how many times you have the urge to have sex. That's what that means. Okay? And having sex is different than masturbating. It's very different. If you're a virgin and you masturbate, I mean, it's not going to be something where, you know, you're going to have your true sex drive. That's kind of triggered after you have sex with another person. Okay? And a lot of guys know this. Girls really don't know it. You know, a lot of girls would just say, guys need to keep it in their pants. For guys that have sex drive, they really can't. For us ladies, we can hold off on sex. For guys, they can't. It's been described to me that having sex for a guy is as real as them eating food. It's something that they have to do. Okay? So it's just something that they have to do. They can't go back to being a virgin. Ladies, they can't do that. Okay? It's about the same as for you. And eating is a good, thing, because you have to do that. For a guy, he has to, once he's no longer a virgin, he, of course, can't stop doing it. He can't become a virgin. Ladies, we can become virgins again, and stuff. If you guys want to know about it, look it up. But learning about your sex drive is really, really, really important, because doing it before marriage makes sense. Because if you're an everyday person and you have to have sex every day, right? You and your significant other are not going to have the same sex drive. One of you could be an everyday person. The other person can be an every 3-day person, okay? Or every 2 days, right? Most of the time, if somebody's an everyday person, and the other person could be every 3 days, every 4 days, or maybe every week or 2 weeks or something like that. All right. So having sex is important, because knowing that sex drive is important. Because if one of you is an everyday and the other person is every 3 days, that person who's a 3-day person is really going to get overwhelmed that their significant other wants to have sex every day. They really are. And that's something that you have to balance and think about. Okay. Now, how does this matter in, after you get married? It matters because if a husband and wife on their wedding night have sex, and it's their first time, after they have sex, right, both of them will change because of the sex drive. So their first time having sex, if they're virgins, it'll seem like to both of them that something changed, right? So let's say it's kind of flip-flopped, okay? Let's say the husband and wife have sex. And after sex, the next day, the girl wants to have sex again. And after that, she wants to have it every single day, okay? And let's say the guy only wants to have sex every 4 days he wants to have sex, every 3 days he wants to have sex. That's really going to be kind of crazy, right? For the guy who wants to have it every 4 days, but the girl wants to have it every day. And he's going to be overwhelmed. After sex, the sex drive kicks in. And let's be real. If you have an urge to have sex and orgasm, you want to do. And is it fair for you to wait until after you get married to find out your sex drive? After you're married already? Is that fair? Because if you find out that you're every 4-day person, or let's say you're every 3-day person, and your significant other is every day, you know what I mean? Then are you guys really a good match sexually? That's what you need to figure out before you guys put rings on your fingers and get married. You need to know that, Let's say You know, and some people will say it doesn't matter because what if people are the same sex drive? Well, I don't think that happens very often. And I think people divorce after they find out their sex drives are different. And at that point, they may wish they had sex before. So sex drive is one of the number one reasons to find out. It's the number one things to find out before you get married, because that can make or break your marriage. Okay? And think about this. If somebody's an everyday person, whether it's a girl or guy, and then their significant other is every 2 days or 3 days, if their significant other has an urge to have sex every day, if you're not going to give it to them, they're going to try to look for it somewhere else. You know, they may not want to break your heart, but they have a need, you know, and masturbating may not be enough to satisfy, you know, them or you, you know. So let's just be real about this. Let's be real. So sex drive is important. A second thing that I think is important with regard to sex before marriage is that you don't want to falsely expect your partner to perform in a way that they don't sexually. Okay. What do I mean by this? Okay, girls, you guys know this out there. Girls, you know this. So, ladies, a lot of times we read romance novels, okay? And we watch soap operas. And I know guys won't understand this, but ladies, you do. Guys, stay with me. So, ladies, we watch things, you know, we can watch movies, the pornos if you're comfortable with that. But, ladies, we have, you know, from what we read or watch or anything, we have expectations about what we think sex will be like with a guy. And for a lot of us, we can be disappointed if our partner doesn't perform how a guy in a romance novel does, you know, while having sex with one of the characters in the story, okay? So, the thing is don't have false expectations. Guys can have false expectations about girls and, you know, how they be in sex because, you know, guys watch porn. They may expect a girl to be like what a girl they saw was in a porn video, you know, that they watched. So guys can have it too, you know. Guys can watch movies, you know, look at, you know, magazines, X-rated magazines and stuff. And, you know, they can have an expectation about how their chick is supposed to perform with sex. But what I want you guys to do is, if you guys have not already had sex, you should have sex to see what the experience is like, you know. And maybe the first time maybe it's not great, but you can build on it though. You know, there's books about different types of sexual positions and things. So you can build on it, you know, and you can learn to, you know, do it better and stuff, you know. I'll say with sex, experience is a good thing. You don't always have to have had sex with other people. You don't have to, okay? But you can. You know, you can do that before your relationship happens. You can do that, okay? Having sex with each other gives you the understanding of how it'll be with that person. And you don't just want to do it once. You want to do it multiple times over, you know, let's say you guys do it several times over the course of a year. And from the sex that you guys have in the course of a year, you don't have to be rabbits, but you'll learn what your partner likes doing, okay? You'll learn that. Do they like missionary? Do they like, you know, being done from behind? Do they like, you know, having sex in different rooms? Do they like doing it in the car? Do they like, you know, do you guys like bondage? Do you guys like the romantic sex? What do you like, right? You learn what the person likes and what they do. A lot of times people do the same kind of sex most of the time. So I say, you know, have sex with a person multiple times to find out, you know, find out what the person does what they like doing. Some people are really spontaneous, you know. Some people like to do it on their front line, you know. Some people like to do it at a football game or whatever, at the movies, you know. I know about that because somebody, when me and my fiance were watching a movie, this girl and this guy were further up at the top of the movie theater and they were doing stuff. So it happens. But it's important to know the types of things that your significant other, you know, does when they have sex, you know. And some people change, you know. Your significant other, over the course of having sex, they may like to try new stuff. And, you know, is that okay with you? And that's what you have to be aware of too. Okay? If they like changing stuff, do you like it? Or do you like something that's kind of consistent and the same all the time? You know? So don't imagine what somebody can be like based off of media like, you know, movies, pornos, articles, stories, you know. Don't base it off that. Base it off the actual real experience. And this is something you need to be aware of. If you're going to be marrying somebody, know that this person could be having sex the same way for the, you know, for the time that you're with them, you know. So you have to be aware of that, you know. And, you know, if you like it, cool. If you don't, you know, you can break up and go with somebody else. But no, you're going to have to get used to that other person's type of sex. And I'm going to tell you this right here. You have people who cheat. When it comes to cheating, if you cheat on your significant other with somebody else, I'm going to tell you this right here. The cheating sex may seem really exciting, but it's not exciting once you guys have broken up. And you're seeing that person that you've been having sex with, at first the sex was great, but now that you guys are in a relationship, it's not exciting because you're not, you know, it's not cheating. It's just regular sex, and then the sex will kind of wane from there, and it's not exciting anymore. So, and I hope I didn't repeat myself. I probably did. But, you know, the experience is important. So that, you know, and don't use media as a means of thinking that your significant other is going to be doing those things when they're not. It's important to talk to them about the types of things that you like and you don't like, so you guys can kind of come together, and when you have sex, you both enjoy it. Okay. Another reason you should have sex before marriage is, let me see. We talked about the sex acts and the like experience, so we'll kind of skip that. One good thing about having sex for the first time majorly when you guys are having sex together is you get a chance to see what that person looks like naked, okay? And you get a chance to decide on whether you like it or not. So what somebody looks like in clothes is not what they're going to look like when they're naked. People can look totally different, okay? And for some people, you know, what somebody else looks like makes a difference to them, you know. And should it? It depends on the person you are, you know. But seeing each other naked, I think it should be a time when you take in who they are. You know, you see them at their most vulnerable state. And sometimes people aren't that vulnerable. Some people are confident when they're naked, so better watch out. But, you know, you get a chance to see each other naked. And I think that it's okay, you know, you both are naked. You know, it's not the time to comment on, you know, ladies, don't comment on, oh my gosh, the guy's thing is small. It's not the time. Because he can say that your boobs are small and then you'll get offended. You know, so seeing each other naked is good. You know, if you guys don't want to do, let's say, you know, you've been having sex with your clothes on. Well, having sex with your clothes off is different. You know, there's heat when you don't have any clothes on. So, you know. But, you know, if you guys don't want to use sex as the time to see each other naked for the first time, you don't have to. You can just do it, you know, one day on your anniversary. You guys can take your clothes off. Not together, but just one of you takes your clothes off and then come from behind a curtain and then, you know, or come around the door and then there you are. And they see you and then they take the clothes off and, you know, you see them. So that's another benefit of, having sex before marriage. Because some people are picky about what their significant other looks like, and it's important to be aware of that as well. What's another reason you should have sex before marriage? I think another reason for having sex before marriage is because if you guys have sex, you can be less stressed. It helps you focus on the act more than like how stressed out you are at your job. How depressed you are because you couldn't get this outfit, but some other girl got it, or guy, some guy got this hat you wanted and you can't get it, or the shoes you wanted, you can't get them. It makes you happier, it makes you less stressed if you have sex before that. And I think another reason you want to have sex before marriage is you want to know if the sex you have is getting you off, so to speak, and is helping you climax so that you're happier. Okay, that's important. Some people are going to say, well, I don't want to have sex before marriage because I care about, what my church thinks. Well, here's the thing. You shouldn't be concerned what your church is going to be concerned about, because they shouldn't be in your relationship, because that can make or break a relationship. I'll tell you this, when me and my fiance were Christians, I will tell you we would argue we didn't physically fight, but I would say we would argue and fight in like disagreements, in terms of like, we would argue and fight because we were Christians. We didn't know how to be, we didn't know how to not argue. You know what I mean? After I stopped being a Christian, I'll tell you, we stopped arguing. We had an argument or disagreement maybe yesterday, but before that, it was probably some months ago before we had a disagreement. And a lot of times we disagree because we don't know how to communicate really. So we need help in that department. So yeah, but we can improve on that. We can deal with each other. That's really important thing. Finding out things about your significant other is so important. Do they like to use a vibrator when you're having sex? Ladies, do you like to do that? What about a guy? Maybe while he's having sex, of course he probably won't use a like masturbating thing, but who knows? If a guy's trying to get up and maybe a girl doesn't want to lick him or suck him down there, maybe he needs to get up maybe so that she's excited. And everybody's so different. Everybody is. And it's really important, to find, I would say, cross the bridge with sex first, because that can make or break your relationship. How do I know? Well, my fiance told me that when he was looking for a girlfriend, he hadn't met me yet, but when he was looking when he was like dating girls, so some girls he met online, when he was dating girls, give me a second. When he was dating girls, they were big online about whether or not he was a virgin or not. And he said some girls said because he was a virgin, girls said, I don't teach, which I think is stupid, because you have to be taught about, you do have to learn about your partner and how they are sexually. You have to learn about their life. So I don't agree with girls saying I don't teach like they're the best ever, what do guys say, lay ever, because that girl might just lay there in the bed and not do nothing and the guy has to do all the work. You get what I'm saying? So girls who say I don't teach, you better be the best girl to have, you better be the best at sex you possibly can, because if you're not, then you just all talk, and I just got to put that out there, because a girl saying she don't teach, what about a guy who has more experience than a girl, and the girl's a virgin and he's not? Is he supposed to say, I don't teach? Because sex is not taught. That's the thing. Nobody teaches sex. Sex is something that you just do, and you have to learn how to do it, okay? So I just want to say that, because it's always going to be something you guys have to figure out, especially if you just got together, And somebody who has more experience, it doesn't mean that they can please their partner either. They may not be able to, and they may have to learn their partner so they can understand how to satisfy them. Okay. So, there's a lot of work that goes into sex. And it can make or break a relationship, because if somebody's not satisfied with the sex, they may decide they want to leave. But I think it's important to learn how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, it's not ear sex. It's not anything like that. You stick someone in the ear. No. It's something you have to learn. If you guys break up for whatever reason, you can. But learning sex, doing sex, it's important to have the experience and stuff. And every time you get a new relationship, you're going to have to learn that person. You're going to have to learn what they like. Just because your last boyfriend, ladies, liked one thing, may like blowjobs, the next guy you get with, he may not like blowjobs. He may like anal sex. You may not be down with it. Other guy, the guy may like missionary. You may like anal, he may like missionary. You gotta balance it out and see what each other likes. And I'd say enjoy sex before having kids. And talk about if you guys want to have kids. What if one of you doesn't want to have kids and the other does? That can break a relationship. So think about it. Sex is a learning experience. It's something that's very personal. It's very private. Unless it's porn. But it's something that you guys have to build each other up on. I know a lot of girls who are virgins. They're scared that once they have sex, this is what I thought. They're scared, like I was, that once they have sex, after they have sex, the guy's not gonna have any need for them. And it can happen. If the person really loves you, they won't feel that way. If you're a booty call, they won't care. But it is what it is. But I just kind of wanted to shed light on, why it's important to have sex before marriage. Because, if you're married and you decide to have sex and you think somebody changed because they have a everyday sex drive, it doesn't mean that they did, So these are things to work out before you get married, because at least you'll know, instead of having a lot of unknowns that you don't know and then not liking it and you're married, okay? So I just thought I would talk about why it's important to have sex before marriage. There's probably nearly other reasons to do it as well and stuff to, chime in on. But if you guys like this video, please comment, please like the video. You should subscribe to my channel. I don't really talk about sex very often, but I thought it was important to at least get that out there, because I don't think it's fair for people to say, oh, wait till you get married to have sex, because that is really unrealistic. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and have a great day.